6-2, yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. As a courtesy to your fellow media members, as well as the coaches and student athletes, we ask that you please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. Please direct your question to a specific player or to coach. If you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. Recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. For the post-game press conference, we have the student athletes from Furman University, Marcus Foster, J.P. Pegues, and Jalen Slauson, as well as head coach Bob Ritchie. At this time, we'll turn it over to Coach Ritchie for his opening remarks on the game and follow up with questions for all. Coach?
Well, what an unbelievable college basketball game. And, you know, we've all year we've been saying that this team just knows how to win. And we knew we were going to have a great opponent in Virginia. We knew there were going to be some advantages in terms of their size, in terms of their physicality, the way they rebound, the way they defend. And there's a lot going on in my mind right now. I mean, it's an unbelievable moment. And give all the glory to God for allowing me to be able to lead it. But this is the day these players just found a way. And I couldn't help but go back when I saw the shot in the air to a year ago, to a play that probably still makes it on March Madness. And that ball floated in the air, and it missed. And it's just a reminder, like, you know, we've said it all year, count it all joy. And you just don't know timing of things. You don't know timing of life. Doesn't always go how you want. But this team has persevered, and they did it today. And it's a microcosm of what they learned, and they just keep reliving the lesson, and they just keep finding ways. And I thought one of the biggest plays of the game didn't happen on the court. It happened when Bothwell fouled out. And I was talking to the official, and I walked back in the huddle, and Bothwell had the huddle. And he said, we're going to find a way to win this game. And all these guys to my left and the whole locker room to my left, they just kept believing. And you know what? I still don't quite know what happened there late. I know we called Indy, which is a late game action for us. I think JP drove, found G, called the foul. Garrett Heen, he's had some issues with free throws this year. And it's not because he can't shoot them, just had to believe in it. And he got up to the line, he just went up there with poise and made 2 huge free throws. And we jumped in to face, and then we had him trapped. I was calling for a foul, but the good Lord knew they couldn't hear me. And they threw it to us. And JP, he didn't make the all-conference team somehow, but he's on the all-winner team because he knows how to win. And he had a similar play in high school. That's why we recruited him so hard, because I watched his clutch clips, and I watched him do something very similar in a huge state playoff game. And when I saw the ball go up, I knew it was going in. And what a day to be a Paladin.
Cody Taylor, USA Today. JP, that coach said he doesn't quite know what happened on that last play, but you ended up with the ball. Just take us through that last play, hit that three-pointer, and give you the win.
I knew we were down, late game situation. As you can see, we need to get a steal, a turnover somehow. And, you know, we did pretty good denying out, making him force a tough pass, and which he did. And then he threw it to 13, Garrett Heen. And then as soon as Garrett Heen, I seen it going to Garrett Heen's hand, I'm like, I want the ball. I feel like those are moments that I've craved my whole life, and I feel like I'm built for. So as soon as I got the ball and I seen a shot attempt that I had, I knew that all I could do at that point was just rise up and shoot it, and I had full belief that it was going in, and it did.
In the front, please.
Jalen, I think Mike fouled out. Y'all were down 8, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you had 9 straight points. What kind of just did something trigger inside you when your fellow fifth-year guy fouls out? I mean, you just took off.
Yeah, in that huddle he was talking about as it ended, I told Mike that we weren't going to let today be his last time putting his jersey on. And I know if roles were reversed, you know, the same thing would have happened. It didn't have to just be me, but, you know, the game was up there for the taking. And, you know, these guys told me they believed in me and told me I was being a little bit passive. told me to be a little bit more aggressive. So, you know, as the game came, we got some actions. We got some good actions, and these guys did a great job giving me good looks, and I was able to knock them down.
Alan Slaughter-Zinski, Brevard Sports Network. Coach, you got down early in the first half. You came back. You got close. You got down by double digits in the second half early and came back. Was this a matter of counterpunching? Take us through how you managed to overcome these leads at each point in this game.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've studied Coach Bennett for a long time, partly because of the coach he is, but a lot because of the man he is and the leader he is, and I've got a high level of respect for him. And I knew one thing going into this, scout team wasn't going to be able to simulate that defense. I love our scout team to death, but we knew there was going to be a little bit of like game absorption in terms of we're going to have to feel this a little bit. And we didn't have a good rhythm early. Offensively, we were taking some tough shots, which is exactly what they want you to do. We battled back. We got some baskets in transition. And then in the second half, we battled back again and cut it to 6, and they hit the back-to-back threes. You know, we got lost on the flare. We got lost on the behind action right there. But, like, it goes to 12, and I just thought we had to change tempo somehow. And it's been keeping me up all week. I mean, I've talked to coaches all around the country, like, how do you speed them up? How do you speed them up? I didn't think we could press them because they handle the ball too well. And they pass it. They stay on 2 feet. They're very disciplined. But I did think, I had this wild thought a couple days ago, it's a zone we don't hardly play. I mean, we've probably played 10, 15 possessions all year of it. But I thought maybe it would just stagnate it to where we don't have to guard all the screening action. And that's what it ended up doing. You know, they still got some looks. They still did some things, but they weren't getting them off of their standard action. And, you know, I knew we were going to have to rebound in it. And, you know, fortunately we did. You know, we didn't rebound all of it, but we did enough to where we could get the ball, get out in transition, and get in some concept. And, look, our group they've been through a lot. And I've told them, like, we're calloused. You know, like, some people think of the things that we've been through like it's a bad thing. You know, these guys have just grown through it. And so the moment's not too big for them. You know, they didn't duck it. You didn't see them putting their head down. And sometimes in life, that's what heart does, right? You just become calloused. And so we were huddled down 4, right? Fortunately, they missed some free throws. You know, we knew, I mean, there's a couple breaks that we got. But we have a high level of respect for them and how they play and how they guard. And we knew, like, the whole time, we were like, hey, we got to embrace the sludge of the game. Like, I see why they win. I mean, they make it really hard. And fortunately, because they just stayed in it through the adversity, through the foul trouble, they just kept believing. And it was the whole message of the week.
For Bob and Jalen, Scott Eisberg, WCIV in Charleston, for both of you guys, was there ever a moment during that game where you just kind of look and go, this is the team that recently won a national title, and I'm coaching against Tony Bennett, and this is Virginia, and we're like, it's like a tunnel vision sort of thing, like we're going to pull this off? Or like, could you not even think about the magnitude while you're playing the game?
I actually talked about that in the team locker room before the game. Like, don't have any expectation of what this game's going to look like. Okay, just go out there and play the possession and understand there might be some discussion that, hey, we're going to have to crawl back from behind. But you know what? If we get a lead, that's going to be just as mental in that process to not worry about, hey, the clock needs to run, right? Like, how do we hold on to this? Oh, my goodness, is this going to happen? Like, you just have to stay in the moment. And, you know, I thought right there that celebration had me a little bit nervous. I mean, 2.4 seconds. I mean, you can get a look. And we had to try to get them over to the huddle. And, you know, we probably let them get a little bit too deep on the floor in that shot. But fortunately, as the old ball coach used to say, the ball bounced our way tonight.
Yeah, I would say, Coach Ritchie told us, you know, it's a nameless, faceless opponent. You know, every night Furman goes out, Furman tries to play to Furman standard. And, you know, we know when we do that offensively and defensively, we can play with anybody in the country. So to go out and, you know, he told us to absorb it. You know, we did a lot of absorption yesterday. And then he basically told us this morning, like, look, you guys got 3 minutes to get your nerves out when the game starts. And, you know, we were able to do a great job of that today.
John Hooper, Mid-Major Madness. JP, Jay Bill has called Virginia's 2 guards the best defensive guards in the country. Can you just talk about how you kept your head in it and how you kept your guys' heads in it playing against such a physical two guards in Beekman and Franklin?
Most definitely. I would agree with that statement to a certain extent. Like, credit to Clark, probably the toughest point guard matchup I've had all year. I mean, he knows what it takes. He's a national champion. Like, you got to give it to him. Same thing with Beekman. I mean, he's just, long, quick, fast, quick hands. Like, you got to give it to those guys. Those guys definitely know what it takes on the defensive end. And they created, tough matchups for us. But we knew that going into the game, that these two were high-level defenders. And me personally, I'm a steady guy. I never show my cards. I told myself that I couldn't be frustrated out there. It's a 40-minute game. No matter what happens one play or the next, it's always NBA, next best action. And I felt like just keeping that mindset throughout the game, it helped me to stay level-headed and also to help lead my team through the adversity that we fought through.
2 minutes remaining, back row.
Cody Taylor, USA Today. JP, it seemed like a pro Furman crowd there cheering you guys on, and then you hit the shot, win the game. What was that celebration like to celebrate with that contingent of fans, and what was the locker room like? It looks like Coach might still be drenched from the celebration.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, we haven't experienced. Like, this is the biggest crowd we ever played in. To see not only our Furman fans, but also the rest of the crowd with other teams, like seeing the fight that we have, that boosted us up. And, just hearing the voices, hearing the cheers of them, it really energized us. And like you said, after the shot, we were totally amped. We were just full of energy. We're just soaking it all in. We're enjoying the moment.
Final question, row 3.
Jalen, Gene Sapikoff from the Charleston Post and Courier. You're a Southern Conference historian. What do you think this means to Furman? And you said after the Southern Conference tournament we have more games to win. Can you kind of comment on that going forward now?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many NCAA tournament games Furman has won. 0, 2. This is our second. All right, shout out to our SID. So this is our second NCAA tournament win. So that's big time for us. And then this team's done a great job making history all year. So Saturday is going to be another chance to make history. And this team has performed the best under the brightest lights all year. And because of guys like these two next to me, I don't want to lose the fact that Marcus was the one that really got us rolling in the second half. He stepped up there and banged 2 humongous shots against a pretty stout defense. So I definitely don't want to let that go to waste. He gave us some energy, gave us some life, and we know when he's playing with that swagger that we're really hard to beat. And then obviously, the shot that JP hit. But I hope this just gives everybody confidence. Like, our highest plus minus tonight was Alex Williams on the biggest stage of his life. It's like, the young guys are going to keep getting better. And, we played well in the championship, but we played better today. Imagine if we go play better Saturday.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us. For our post-game press conference, we have the student athletes from the University of Virginia, Isaac McNeely and Reese Beekman, along with head coach Tony Bennett. At this time, we'll turn it over to Coach Bennett for his opening remarks on the game and follow up with questions for all. Coach?
Sure. You know, this game is interesting, might be the word I'd use. You feel like we got it. And then all of a sudden, in a moment's notice, it changes at the end. And that's tough. It is, because I was proud of our guys, you know, to play well. And then all of a sudden, Furman, who, congratulations to them, they're a terrific team. And they played well, and they threw that zone on us, and we struggled a little bit. And then the guys, we got ourselves situated. The guys did a great job of retaking the lead, which is very difficult to do. So I was proud of how they played. You know, and then the pass at the end, you know, we missed a front end of a bonus. We missed you know, made 1 out of 2, so there were some free throws that could have salted that away. And, you know, I'll have to see on tape how it all played out. But, again, it's that feeling of it's there. I think we're going on to the second round, or the whatever round we call it now, and then it's gone. And that's a gut punch. But you get to choose how you respond, and over time, it'll all be okay. I know that. But I feel for the guys and the staff, but certainly respect the job that Furman did. Very good team and classy program, classy coach.
Front.
Hey, Tony, Gene Wong with the Washington Post. What do you say to Kihei? Someone who's meant so much to the program after how it unfolded at the end of the game.
Yeah, you know, again, I've loved coaching him in his career. I mean, he had the the most amazing assist to get us to a Final Four. We would not be in this spot without him, all the success, and he's had an unbelievable career. And, you know, you always look to that last moment, and there's so many what ifs, and you can, you know, who knows. But in time, you know, that will fade, and what he's done, what he's meant. And like I said, I love coaching him and these guys. So I feel for all these guys, feel for us, but it's just a hard way to end. But also there's a whole lot of good when you look at the whole picture.
Front row.
Tony, what went into the decision not to call a timeout when that trap came on there?
Yeah, they were down there. We should, yeah, I didn't think either get tied up, call a timeout in the dribble, and I don't know if the refs were near me. We were just running, and I don't know if Kihei, you know, thought no one was there. The clock was running out. I'm not sure, but we should have called a timeout, or could have gotten a tie-up. We had it, and it unfolded. I think had he gotten tied up, he would have called the timeout in there, and again, I have to see how it played out.
Isaac, when you got fouled with 35 seconds left, you ended up passing to Caden, I think, you know, as you were getting fouled. Did you think at all about going up with a shot at the...
I mean, yeah, maybe, but I just saw the help defense coming, so I just dropped it off to Caden. It was kind of a bang-bang play, but, you know, it is what it is.
Additional questions? Right here in the front.
It's now been, you know, 4 years since that national championship. How do you kind of convey, all right, you know, you guys have had this heartbreak in the first round. How do you kind of convey that's not necessarily a byproduct of the system, and that this isn't necessarily something that's going to continue?
Yeah, I mean, you just keep working. I think the guys had a terrific year this year, being co-champs in the ACC, got to the championship game of the conference tournament, and felt like we had this, and certainly lost. You know, the last time we were in the tournament, we had the COVID deal, and we got one practice. You know, we had a key injury, so I can make situations why it's been tough, but we've lost in the first round, and that, as he said, it is what it is, but it doesn't take away from what these guys have done and what we've experienced over the years. But, you know, you wanted it when you felt like you had it, and that was a tough one. And but grateful to coach them, and keep building, keep trusting, and you got a choice how you respond, and I will choose to respond the right way.
Second row.
Tony, the final shot aside, were you worried as the game went on about the disparity in three-pointers made between between the two teams.
Yeah,
I mean, it ended up being 10-2, but even
Right.
before that, it was 9-2.
Isaac made a couple, where those were only 2 threes, and you got to stick some of those shots or hit some of those free throws in that game, and they can shoot. We knew that. You look at their stats, and they're a veteran team, and like I said, the parity in college basketball, why those guys came back to get this opportunity is real. But sometimes it comes down to, again, a free throw made or one more three, or just it's so subtle in an ending like that, and that was very improbable how it ended. But we got a couple good looks that went in and out, and but I thought we battled to get that lead back. That's what I thought. Okay, we got it back in good, tough play, and thought we were going to be playing on Saturday, but we're not.
Front row.
Yeah, Kip Coons, Press Box View. Tony, what went into your decision to start Caden Shedrick today, and how your evaluation of how he responded?
Yeah, I thought he played terrific. They're mobile. They're a 5-out team, and their 5-man can shoot. We've been going with Francisco because of the physicality of whether it was Carolina or Clemson in those 2 games, and Duke. But we said, okay, this guy's a little more mobile, so we're going to have to go with mobility at the 5, and he gave us some good rim protection. And at times we went with Jaden at the 5. We went with 4 guards because there's not really anyone in our league that's quite like them. So again, that's why we went that way. And I thought Caden, really responded, stuck his free throws and played good, tough basketball. So I was happy for him and proud of him.
Front row.
Hey, Reese, you guys were up 12, I think midway through the second half, and Furman started coming back. What were they doing? Was it just hitting shots, or were there defensive breakdowns? How would you assess that?
Yeah, I feel like the zone kind of slowed us down a little bit, took us out of rhythm. So that was, I feel like it was a turning point in the game for them, and they executed that pretty well. So, yeah.
Additional questions? Back row, please.
David Teal, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Tony, right here, Tony, I'm sorry.
Right, there you David, sorry.
Had they shown any zone at all on tape as you scouted
I think
them?
0.6% on synergy or whatever. So, and that's always, that was a good, 1-3-1, and I think we saw it one time, maybe it was, I don't know if it was Old Dominion early, watching that was an early game in Charleston they did, but not hardly at all. And again, because we were struggling to shoot, and I think our offense was really cooking, that sort of stood us up, and we tried a couple different attacks, and then we settled in, and then we started getting some easy ones. So that's, like I said, it took a little while, but then I was pleased how our guys started attacking it, because that's hard. The game was right there. You felt the lead, and then they got back to it, but the initial answer is a small amount just back then, so that wasn't.
And then the sequence with 2.2 seconds left, you call the timeout, and then you draw it up.
Yep.
Did it unfold just as you would have hoped?
We had 2 options, actually. One was for Reese coming off to get 2 dribbles, and I think you might have board rim. I don't know if you got to look. Or if it wasn't him wrapped, we had Isaac coming to, try to get 2 dribbles and get it down there. But, that's tough in that spot. And it was, a little bit, you're kind of shell-shocked, but you say, hey, let's try to get a shot on the rim, and we got that.
2 minutes remaining. Row 3, please.
Tony, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Sorry if you've already gone through this, but Kihei, I don't know how many times other coaches have talked about the winning plays he makes. For you personally, just to see him have a mistake like that late in such a big stage, just kind of what are your feelings for him and what he's done?
I told you at the start of it how much I love coaching him and how much of a warrior he is, and his story is unbelievable, and this adds another chapter to it, and he can handle it. We can handle this, and that's sometimes things happen, and again, I've said this, you get to choose how you respond, but I feel that it happened and played out like that for someone who's been so good for this program. But that's the madness of this tournament. You've seen it. We've lived both sides of it, and that's a hard way to go. But in time, you're frustrated, and then all that stuff goes in time. You'll appreciate things, and it'll shape him. And again, you always got to have a real perspective of what's going on. But again, proud of him, love coaching him, and we'll all struggle through it. Then your head will be up, and you'll move on.
Back row.
Yeah, Preston Willett, CBS 19. Isaac and Reese, you guys haven't had a lot of experience at this stage. Just what do you take away from just kind of getting here and seeing this, and possibly with another year to go?
I'll just say the little things, how crucial they can be to play out in these type of games. This game came down to the last play, and it was just a lot of little things early in the game that could have changed that outcome. So just being in those moments and these situations good experience for me and Isaac, so we'll just take that going into next year.
Yeah, I would just say, everybody at this level is good. I know there's the seeding and all that, but everybody can be everybody, as obviously you've seen. But I'm just thankful for the opportunity. A lot of people would die to play in March Madness, so I'm just really thankful for that, and hopefully I'll be back next year.
Final question from the back.
Tony, in that vein about Kihei, would it surprise you to know that when we went in the locker room, number one, he sat there and answered all the questions, and number two, when we first approached, he was watching the play on his phone to see what he could have done differently?
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me. As I said, you celebrate his career, and again, this is part of the game. I've used this line before, but when you step between the lines, you take the good, and you take the hard with it, and you try to handle them both with dignity and respect, and he'll do that. And again, would we be in this spot without him? Nope. So here we are, and I'm grateful for him.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.